let's talk about a device, something you can buy for less than 50 bucks that can literally bring our digital world to a screeching halt. Now, this isn't just some novelty gadget. It's more like a key that unlocks a huge fundamental weakness in the systems we all rely on every single day. So let's dive into what this thing is, and maybe more importantly, what it reveals about our security. You know, this whole story kicks off with a simple online purchase, but the thing that shows up in the mail, it's a little strange. It's just this unmarked box. There's no branding, no manual, nothing. Just a small plastic case that honestly kind of feels like a toy. But trust me, it is no toy. And even though it looks incredibly simple, this little gadget was designed to do one thing and one thing only. And with just the press of that single button, it can unleash this wave of digital chaos, leaving pretty much everyone around you completely clueless about what's going on. Okay, so what exactly does this thing do? Well, the best way to think about it is like a digital fire alarm. Let's see what happens when somebody decides to pull that alarm in a very, very public place. The technical name for this is a Wi-Fi deauthor, and its entire job, its only job, is to just blast a specific command called a deauthentication packet at any Wi-Fi network you point it at. And the result? Every single device, your phone, your laptop, everything, gets instantly and repeatedly kicked off the network. So yeah, the techie term is a spoofing attack, but the reality is way, way simpler. It's a button that just breaks Wi-Fi. You don't need any passwords, you don't need any hacking skills. You just point it and you press it. That's it. To really see the impact, somebody actually tested this thing in a busy coffee shop. So picture it. They press the button and boom, suddenly a wave of confusion just washes over the cafe as everyone's laptops and phones drop offline. The barista, thinking it's just a glitch, does what we all do, right? They reboot the router. Everything comes back online, everyone reconnects, and then the button gets pressed again and again. Just chaos on demand. And here's the really crucial part. Causing all this disruption was ridiculously easy, and nobody even suspected an attack. They just figured, the coffee shop's Wi-Fi is terrible. It's just a perfect example of a massive vulnerability hiding in plain sight, disguised as just another everyday annoyance. So you're probably wondering, how is this even possible? You'd think this has to be some kind of brand new, sophisticated hack, but the truth is actually way more alarming. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. And it's been a part of Wi-Fi since the very, very beginning. Yeah, this timeline really tells the whole story. The ability for a router to kick devices off its network, this deauth frame, was built into the original Wi-Fi standard all the way back in 1997. Security experts have known about this flaw for decades, yet here we are today, and billions of our devices are still completely vulnerable to it. The entire problem boils down to this one critical oversight. When your phone gets a command telling it to disconnect from the Wi-Fi, it just does it. It has no way of checking if that command actually came from the real router, or if it came from some cheap gadget pretending to be the router. The whole system is just built on blind trust. And this is where things get really weird, in this legal gray area. In a lot of places, like the US, you can buy one of these things completely legally. So how is that possible? Well, sellers get around the rules by marketing them as network testing tools for, educational purposes, even though we all know what their most obvious function is. But let's be crystal clear. While it might be legal to own, using one is highly illegal. Under the U.S. Communications Act, if you willfully interfere with radio communications, like Wi-Fi, well, you could be looking at a massive fine from the FCC. We're talking over $100,000 for just a single violation. So, okay, besides just pulling a prank in a coffee shop, what are the actual stakes here? Let's explore some scenarios where this simple device could be used for something way, way more dangerous than just a minor inconvenience. I mean, just think about it. An airport terminal thrown into chaos because all the flight boards go blank. Or a hospital where all the wireless patient monitors suddenly go dark. Or imagine a thief standing on the sidewalk, disabling your home security cameras right before they break in. This stuff isn't from a movie plot. These are real, tangible risks made possible by this cheap, easy-to-get technology. And this right here highlights a huge gap in our security. Big corporations, governments, they know about this flaw. They use the latest security, like WPA3, which actually has protections against this exact attack. But your router at home, the one at your local coffee shop, they are almost certainly running on older, vulnerable software that has absolutely no defense at all. Which brings us to, honestly, the most unsettling question of all. If this vulnerability is so old, so easy to exploit, and the tools are so cheap, what is actually keeping our networks online? The answer, as it turns out, is not much. Really, our collective digital safety relies on this flawed idea called security through obscurity. It's basically the flimsy hope that things are safe just because most people don't know how easy they are to break. And as this little gadget proves, hope is not a security strategy. And this is probably the most important thing to take away from all of this. This gadget doesn't actually break Wi-Fi. What it does is expose the fact that Wi-Fi was already broken. Its real power is that it's a physical, tangible reminder that our digital world is built on a cracked foundation, one that we've all just kind of collectively agreed to ignore. So in the end, we're left with this really sobering thought. The technology to cause widespread disruption is cheap, it's legal to buy, and it's ridiculously easy to use. The only thing stopping it from happening everywhere, all the time, is just a simple, collective decision not to do it. So the real question is, how secure does that make you feel? Is let's just hope for the best really a viable security plan?